University of Maryland big man Derik Queen is shooting up draft boards, and for very good reason. He's a physical player with strong post moves, excellent footwork, and impressive court vision. And for NBA teams always looking to find the next Nikola Jokic or Alperen Şengün, these are all very desirable skills to have in a big man. But that's just part of the story when it comes to Derik Queen, and in today's video, I'm going to explain why he is one of the most NBA-ready big men for this upcoming draft. Welcome everybody, my name is Troy, and this is the Half Court Report. Be sure you click that thumbs up button and subscribe for some of the best NBA content that you're going to find on YouTube. Derik Queen is 20 years old, standing 6'10" and weighing about 240 pounds. He was ranked by ESPN as a top 10 player coming out of high school. He won the McDonald's All-American Game MVP, and he was also named the Big Ten Freshman of the Year during his time at Maryland. Now, when it comes to the Derik Queen scouting report and what the NBA team that drafts him can expect, well, there is a lot to like. Sam Vecenie over at The Athletic had a really great write-up on Queen. I'm going to link that in the description. But he said Queen is one of the most productive freshmen in the country, averaging nearly 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists while shooting over 50% from the field. But Queen is much more than that. Yes, he's a strong post player, but what makes him very intriguing to NBA teams is his ball skill. He's a fantastic ball handler and shot creator from the perimeter for a big guy. He can really control the ball at a level that most guys over 6'10" are just unable to do. He loves to face up and size his man up before hitting crossovers with some suddenness and hesitation. He uses those shot fakes or pass fakes to get his man off balance. Add to that, he really seems to understand how to use his frame to maintain those advantages. Sam also says that few bigs are better at any level, including the NBA, at using a hostage dribble to keep his man on his back and keep a 4-on-5 advantage for his team. Queen gets all the way to the rim to finish, where he's relatively effective there. And what's also interesting is his passing. And it's the passing that could end up setting him apart from other players when we reevaluate this draft in a few years. He has terrific vision. He can really pass on the move in the way that NBA teams love to see. Passes off a live dribble with both his left and right hand. And that lets him have quick reactions to double teams or to see that mismatch in certain situations. Is very fast when it comes to processing the game overall, and is able to hit those creative passes from overhead or underarm angles to find those windows and make the right play. And yeah, he's only averaging about 2 assists per game, but I think that undersells his ability. This is a guy who could average 5 or more assists per game in the NBA. Maryland coach Kevin Willard said that having Queen on the team is like having a 6'11" point guard. We can ISO, we can post, we can run the offense through him. He knows every play from every possession. Tell me the last 6'11" guy in college who could do that. Coach makes a great point. But if we're talking about Derik Queen, we got to talk about the defense too, because that is going to be concerning throughout this draft process. Queen may be a couple inches undersized for that center spot, and he also doesn't have a ton of length to make up for it. To their credit, the Maryland coaching staff does a pretty good job of hiding him by pre-switching most ball screen actions, but Queen seems to struggle when he's asked to go north-south closing out onto players. It's not as big of an issue moving laterally, but it's hard for him to close out and stop his momentum, or for him to get to the level in ball screens, stop, and then recover. And since he's not quite as big as the most effective drop coverage ball screen defenders in the NBA, he's not able to take up a lot of space in those situations. So that's going to leave teams to wonder what his ultimate defensive role is. If he can work on his body more and slim down even further to play the 4 consistently, that could be an option. Or maybe he will just keep improving in that defensive area when it comes to positioning and his willingness to contest shots in order to play the 5 full time. By all accounts, Queen is a very hard worker, especially when it comes to getting his body in shape. And that's just going to continue as he gets into the NBA. He came into Maryland at about 260 pounds. Now he's in that 240-pound range, So it does look like Derik Queen is laying off the Derik Queen for the time being. As far as NBA comparisons, scouts bring up names like Alperen Şengün from the Houston Rockets, a guy who can play inside, but also you can run the offense through. Domantas Sabonis for the Sacramento Kings is another comparison due to the strong rebounding and also passing acumen. And then Naz Reid has recently come up because of his ability to handle the ball like Queen does. The difference, though, is that Naz Reid is a pretty consistent shooter, something that Queen has not added to his game as of now. That's going to be the next step in his development if he's going to become a truly lethal player in the NBA. In terms of where Derik Queen could get drafted, most mocks have him in the lottery, and I could even see him going in the top 10 with strong workouts and interviews as we get into the draft process. So let's look at some teams. I think the San Antonio Spurs could be an option. The defensive liabilities could be covered by Wembanyama, Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, and it would add another playmaker to that San Antonio roster. Something that they were maybe trying to get with Jeremy Sohan, but hasn't quite gone the way they had hoped. The Charlotte Hornets, that's another option. They would get an additional playmaker to put with LaMelo Ball. There are also questions about Mark Williams' future with the Hornets, so Derik Queen could step in to be that long-term starting five. Defense, though, would be a problem on that team because you already have the defensive question marks with LaMelo. Adding another guy like Derik Queen could be a problem there. The Chicago Bulls might be a good spot for Derik Queen. They need a big man, and that would give them the playmaking center who can rebound. Then you've got a core of Queen, Giddey, Kobe White, Modest Buzelis. Might have something cooking there in the next couple of years. The Wizards are another option. You've got the defense of Bilal Coulibaly, Alex Sarr, and Jordan Poole. I was just kidding on that last part. But you would have that big man tandem with Alex Sarr and have Queen initiate the offense at times. And Queen is a Baltimore kid who would love playing close to home. And those Baltimore guys are just built different. Finally, what about the Sixers? They've had a terrible year. But getting Derik Queen in the draft could be a nice consolation prize if they don't lose their pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Queen could act as Joel Embiid insurance. And if you're going to go full rebuild, pair him with Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes, Jared McCain. Guys, I'm talking myself into this. Let's get Derik Queen to Philly. That's what I think, but drop your comments below. Since you've watched this far, make sure you drop a like for the YouTube algorithm and hit that subscribe button too so you never miss another NBA video from me. Coming at you with fresh NBA content several times a week. And hey, since we're talking about big men, what about Kaman Malawach? This guy for Duke, 7'2", 7'6" wingspan. One of the best international prospects to come around in quite some time. But the more you look into Malawach's game, there may even be more questions than answers when it comes to his fit at the NBA level. I had to do a whole video on it, break it all down. Let me know what you think. That's all I got for you today. Don't be a casual in basketball or in life, and I'll catch you next time on the Half Court Report.